Hello again and welcome back to your version of Heaven on Earth. I'm enjoying my Heaven on Earth. I hope you are too. We're here studying the lessons of A Course in Miracles on this channel. And today we're going to be studying lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. And guess what? Those things are joy and peace. So we've been talking about happiness the last few days. Hopefully it's been surfacing in your mind and you've been thinking about it. What makes you happy, what blocks your happiness, things of that nature, how happiness in God and forgiveness and salvation are all basically the same thing, the solution to all of our problems, things of that nature. Well, today we're going to talk about something that belongs to you. So not only is it like you can cultivate happiness and joy and peace, but they belong to you. You own them, right? And then compare and contrast with the things that you think that you own otherwise, right? Like your house and your car and things that give you a sense of safety and security and accomplishment. Think of those things compared to the ability to own your joy, own your peace. It's kind of like, wow, where have I been putting my energy my whole life in trying to obtain things and statuses and impress myself, but impress other people and make it right with other people who used to be disappointed in me and now they're proud of me. All this effort goes into those things that are generally body-based and usually ego-driven. And then there's this whole other thing in our life that it's time for us to activate now. We want to own our joy and peace, and no one can take it from you. This is one of those things that you own. The bank can't come and take it from you. You can't lose it in a divorce hearing. Like, you own these things forever. They're already yours. It's just remembering that these things are on your priority list, but probably need to be moved up a few notches. All right, let's jump into the lesson. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Yet must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts? They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where his belong as substitutes for them. So we need to move things around in our mind to make room for happiness, joy, and peace, okay? It's interesting. We've substituted with our worldly things and we're blocking out what God has given us. And it's always been there. We just have to have awareness of it. Today we would remove all meaningless and self-made, little s, self-made gifts which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today. So again, we're going to talk about time here, right? Here on earth, we live in this very linear time type, and we have no real understanding of the absence of time because we're so controlled and manipulated by the world around us. We have to keep up with it, the fast pace. You got to know what's going on. Oops, the restaurant's closed. We missed it because of time. Little things, big things, time-based. But what we're hearing here, again, is we are in an eternity space, but yet down here on earth, living in these bodies, we feel like we're limited and controlled by this thing that we've basically invented. So when you're doing your course lessons, remove yourself from time if you can. Give yourself enough time where you won't worry about, oh, I've got another appointment coming, right? So your mind can be relaxed and fresh. But try to remove yourself from time. Don't look at the time. Don't think about the time. And just kind of get into the moment of what you're reading and let it wash over you, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. I think that's a good practice. All right. Therefore, we choose to have them now, and know in choosing them in place of what we made, we but unite our will with what God wills and recognize the same as being one. So our will and God's will are one. We're getting there. Our longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation, should begin with this: I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. Then lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed to by them and sought for only in a world of dreams. All this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours, as we ask to recognize what God has given us. We clear a holy place within our minds before His altar, where His gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by Him. We come in confidence today, aware what belongs to us in truth is what He gives. And we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. So there's another kind of visualization you could have for yourself. Maybe you do actually have an altar, but if you don't, you could imagine a blank table space and how you would decorate it if you wanted to think about joy and peace and happiness and your salvation and timelessness. What would it be? It could be anything, very unique to you. Typically on altars, you see some elements from nature, maybe some rocks or crystals, some very beautiful pieces of artwork that are very sentimental. It's whatever, pieces of jewelry, gifts given to you by other people, special things you've purchased somewhere. What could you do to make your mind remember this, that God has given us gifts and we have to remember them? And some place in your mind, you don't have to do this physically, but in your mind you could think about, what would it be? Flowers, anything that reminds you of something in nature, sand, rocks, seashells. And this is the reminder, this is the new space that you're creating to remember that God has given you these gifts. And it does mean moving other things out of the way, whether it's in your mind or in the physical. And the last thing that I want to say is that God is not angry with us for not accepting His gifts. God has infinite patience. Love is kind, love is patient, right? So don't worry that we haven't been aware of the gifts that we were given by God just by being. However, now that you've read this passage, you can intentionally make a physical space or think in your mind, what can you clear out in order to make room for what God wants you to have, which is happiness and a beautiful experience during your earth incarnation. I think it's worth it. Okay. All this we lay aside and seek instead which is truly ours, as we ask to recognize what God has given us. We clear a holy place within our minds before His altar, where His gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by Him. We come in confidence today, aware that what belongs to us in truth is what He gives, and we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. I realize I read that paragraph a second time, but I think it was worth it. So do we clear the way for Him today by simply recognizing that His will is done already and that joy and peace belong to us as His eternal gifts? We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where He has laid them. This reminder will bring to mind as often as we can, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Gifts of joy and peace are all I want. Lesson 104. Congratulations for getting here. Make some space for joy and peace today. Make some space for God's gifts today. Feel it in your heart. Feel it in your mind, and know that you're doing amazing, excellent work. And you don't have to have, miraculous, instantaneous healing as you do the lessons one by one. But what's happening is this really deep clean going on in your mind, and you're erasing a lot of suffering from your life. So trust it, practice, make sure you're remembering every hour, think about these gifts that God has given us, that you may give to others because you're studying these lessons. And have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see what tomorrow's lesson is and share it with you. I love you all dearly, and take good care of yourself today.